When I got the call that my uncle had been arrested again, I wasn't surprised, but what he said before they locked him away for 10 years sent a chill down my spine. My uncle was the kind of guy who thrived on chaos, charming, reckless, always on the edge of trouble. This time it wasn't a slap on the wrist. He was facing 10 years for possession of over a pound of cocaine, hidden in the trunk of his car like a casual errand. What made it worse, he swore up and down the drugs weren't his. He said he was framed, that someone wanted him gone, and, as he muttered, better prison than what they'd do to me. It was the first time I ever saw real fear in his eyes. This time it wasn't a slap on the wrist. He was facing 10 years for possession of over a pound of cocaine, hidden in the trunk of his car like a casual errand. What made it worse? He swore up and down the drugs weren't his. He said he was framed, that someone wanted him gone, and as he muttered, better prison than what they'd do to me. It was the first time I ever saw real fear in his eyes. After his sentencing, I was roped into a family duty I couldn't refuse, clearing out his old apartment. It was a nicotine-stained disaster, full of relics from his chaotic life. But what I found hidden among the clutter wasn't just a family heirloom. It was something much darker. As I packed up his things, my fingers brushed against something in a kitchen cupboard. A small leather-bound book worn with age and stained with the smell of cigarette smoke. At first I thought it was a simple recipe book, maybe my grandfather's. But as I flipped through the pages, a strange dread crept over me. The ingredients didn't feel normal. Binding broth of bone and leaf, mother's last supper porridge. These weren't recipes, they felt more like spells. When I showed the book to my mom, her eyes widened in recognition. "This was your grandfather's," she whispered, her voice soft, almost reverent. She was thrilled I'd found it, but I couldn't shake the chill that settled in my bones every time I turned the pages. Despite the unease, I scanned the entire thing, preserving the recipes for her and for myself. I forgot about the book until Thanksgiving rolled around. My mum had cooked something strange, a dish from the recipe book, a hen coated in a sweet ashen sauce. She watched us eat with an unsettling excitement. I couldn't shake the feeling something was off, especially when I found the recipe later. It was called Ancestors' Offering, and the instructions mentioned using the ashes of those who have returned to the earth. My blood ran cold. Had my mother used my grandfather's ashes in our meal? I confronted my uncle about the book, calling him in prison. His voice turned sharp, almost pleading. "Burn that book," he said, his words trembling over the line. "It brings out the worst in people. Those recipes aren't for cooking, they're for invoking things." He begged me to get it away from my mom, to destroy it before something terrible happened. Christmas Day came, and when I arrived at my parents' house, I knew something was terribly wrong. My mum was distant, forcing me to sit at the table, urging me to eat. The ham she placed before me looked wrong, blackened and slick, and I couldn't shake the feeling that the house was hiding something sinister. When I finally pushed past her to find my dad, I opened the door to the garage and found him barely alive, his legs severed. My mother shrieked as they took her away, crying out that we had to finish the meal. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more chilling tales and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And tell me, have you ever uncovered a family secret that made you question everything?